you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you!
Had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, why they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise they ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, hey, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in.
I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feeling we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Hey, what's up?
Well, I just want to say,
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just saw Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit you
ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. Take a lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn. State?
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts.
Mm.
You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. The self-proclaimed best in the podcast game are live coming at you from Houston, Texas, as we always do. I am Casey, the remix schedule, the bald and the beautiful and the almost late. Old man below me is Eddie, the original schedule. Say hello to the folks.
Well, hello there. You know, you don't have to tell people if people are almost late. There's no such thing as being almost late. You're either late or you're not.
Well,
There is
technically
no,
you were.
as Yoda would say, there is no try. There is only do or not do.
Are you sure that was Yoda?
I'm pretty sure it was Yoda.
I have no idea.
Green dude, funny ears.
What? What'd you say?
Green dude, funny ears.
Yeah, I know who Yoda is. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. But all right. Anyways, and welcome. Well, last week we weren't able to do it. A couple weeks was the first time we did it. So welcome to the live stream on TikTok. So shout out to everyone watching us on there. So got a new platform added on a little back way to get it on TikTok. So so I'll be keeping an eye on comments and things over there. But well, if you haven't seen our show before, the old man, we are a sports show, but we are number one fan, our day one fan. She likes comedy, and he tries. The original tries to make people laugh. He hasn't made me laugh in over a year and a half doing this. He's made me smile once. But what's on deck? What funny attempt do you have for us? What joke do you have?
Okay, so and it's a riddle again. Let's see if you get it
Another
right.
riddle? Like riddles aren't funny.
Yes, they are, especially when you can't guess them.
No, they're not.
What do corn farmers use as the internet?
What do corn farmers
use as the internet?
One, this doesn't seem like a riddle. It just seems like a dad joke with a punchline. But go ahead.
Cobweb. It's a cobweb. Get it? Corn, cobweb. And as a bonus, why do genies fly on magic carpets?
I hope this is better than the last one. What is it?
Because no one ever wishes for cheaper flights.
Okay. All right. Our entire TikTok viewership just went to 0 after that.
Okay. Then I've done my job. My job is done here.
Yep. I'm here to bring the ratings. He's here to kill the ratings. Oh, man. Good times. All right, folks, let me give you the rundown. We got the Cowboys. Can they contend, or are we just all pretending about it? We got our NFL roundabout and the Texans preview since they were on a bye week last week. So give a little Houston Texan love, as well as what performances caught our eye around the league. So we got our NFL roundabout. We got the NHL season started last week. We're going to talk a little Dallas Stars. And who do we think is going to win the cup? We may have teased that last week. So is it a three-peat by Florida, or is someone else going to get that? Then we got NBA on the horizon in the next week or so. That's going to start. NBA preseason is hot underway. Some good performances by Cooper Flagg and others. We're going to talk a little Rockets, a little Mavericks, a little Spurs, and just kind of see where we think they're going to end up on the season. We got Major League Baseball playoffs, kind of update there. We got college football, the top games and reactions and predictions, making the most of your moment, the old man segment. And then we'll finish off with little tidbits, randoms, and of course, whiskey of the week. So what is in the cup? Take your best guess. We'll see if you get it right. Matter of fact, if you get it right, I'll buy you a bottle. So look at there.
Okay, well, there you go. What if like 100 people get it right?
Nah, it's only the first person who guesses right.
See, you didn't stipulate that. Now you
Well, I
got a
just did.
lawsuit.
I said it before anyone tried. So
I don't know.
I normally have the
I
bottle
don't know.
sitting up here, so I strategically put the bottle on the floor. So all right, let's get into these Dallas Cowboys. Took on the Panthers last week. Someone told them to buckle up, and they damn sure did not. Looked like a car wreck all day on defense. We'll start with the game, and then we'll start with the question: are they contenders? Even to make the playoffs, or are we just all pretending ourselves? The game was not pretty. It was not aesthetically pleasing to the fan base. I think more and more people are calling for Eberflus's firing, and then you have Jerry Jones talking crazy. The only fun thing about this week is we're going to get to hear Sir George and his reactions here in a little bit. But what did you think of the Carolina game, and what were your impressions and takeaways from that piss poor performance by the Dallas defense that ultimately led them to losing the game?
Well, the whole point about the defense is we are 6 games in, and you've got guys like Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones saying, "Oh, well, we're still working on it." No, it's past the time you need to stop working on it. First off, admit that you screwed up when you traded Micah Parsons, even though he's not really doing $47 million a year worth in Green Bay right now. But your defense is terrible. And and most of the time, it's not because your players are terrible, it's because they're out of position. I mean, it's constant. I mean, you've gone from the old days of McCarthy running the offense being predictable to now you have a defense that is completely predictable. You've got mediocre quarterbacks looking like all-stars because they know you're dropping back in a zone. And not only are you dropping back in a zone, you're dropping 10 to 15 yards back on a 3rd and 2, on a 3rd and 3. If your corners, and this is my whole thing, this defense, when Dan Quinn was there, which, by the way, he's going to be in the house
tonight.
Yes, but
I did not
realize. The thing is that when he ran that defense, he built it around playing close man defense. Your players are man-to-man corners. They are not zone, and they look like they don't understand zone. And now that you don't really have a pass rush, your playing zone does not work. This experiment with this defensive coordinator who played against his old team and looked terrible is still looking terrible. How many games does it take for someone to say, no, this needs to change? It's sad. The sad part about it is the offense is moving the ball. They're scoring almost 30 points a game. But your defense ain't stopping jack crap at this point because they can't stop mediocre quarterbacks from going down the field because the receivers are wide open. It's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, this sounds like the same song about 15 years ago when Tony Romo and Terrell Owens and Jason Witten and DeMarco Murray were tearing up the league, and then it was Tony Romo that just replaced Dez with Terrell Owens with Dez Bryant. and the defense wasn't there. You mentioned the Micah thing. I don't think Micah Parsons makes up for how bad this defense is. Would it be a little bit incrementally better? Sure, of course. But I'm just not, he doesn't turn this defense into a better than average, defense. You got a lot of issues. You have safety play issues. You mentioned the corner style. I don't know how much I buy the style of corner because, in my opinion, you're a professional at the highest level. You should be able to play in both.
I get all that, but the problem is the safeties are key to a zone defense, and these safeties are constantly out of position.
Well, I just talked about the safeties, so yes, thank you for highlighting my point. It is. I'm just saying I'm not buying that. You're not the only one to say that, and I know you're not making excuses for the corners. Everyone has a better way they play, and they should mix in man-to-man defense more. But as athletes at the highest level, a zone defense should be easier, and you would think so. But the problem is it's easier for the first 3 seconds. Then after that, it becomes more difficult because you can't put any pressure on the quarterback. Zone defense requires pressure on the quarterback. You don't have that. Obviously, you traded away your best pass rusher. That would make that part of the game better. But as you move on through the season, you have to start entertaining the conversation. And I know Jerry Jones says he likes Eberflus. He's not going anywhere. I know Schottenheimer gave his endorsement. But you're on the path of historically bad like they were in 2020. And so if you remember in 2020, we set the worst defensive it was the worst defensive Cowboys year in its history. And you're on pace with that number. And the issue is, you mentioned, offense is rolling. So I think we're pretending ourselves, go to the question, are they contenders to make the playoffs? The division has taken a step back. I don't think the division is as good as we thought at the top with the Eagles and the Commanders. So is there room for the Cowboys to catch them? There is, but the Cowboys have one of the hardest schedules left in the league the rest of the way, along with the rest of the NFC East. And I just don't think they're going to pull that out. Not with the defense playing this terrible. And if you were going to if you can make some wholesale changes, you might as well start selling out. You might as well start blitzing a lot and say it's either going to be boom or bust. You may give up some big plays, but you may cause some turnovers. You may disrupt the offense because right now, Rico Dowdle. People are saying it's a guy they threw away. No, they tried to re-sign Rico Dowdle. Okay, the numbers weren't matching up. They didn't agree. So Rico Dowdle says, buckle up. 6.1 yards a carry. I don't care who it is. That's ridiculous. And Kenny Clark, your supposed run stuffer, and Ziggy in the middle, who were solid the first couple weeks, they just got pushed around left and right and left. And it was just a horrible performance. The linebacking core is not as good as what I thought it was. And you already talked about the back end. So I think the Cowboys are pretenders, and I think it's going to be a rough rest of the year.
Well, the reason that I emphasize the safety, because in a zone defense, the safety has to make a decision. Because since you're not man-to-man, the safety, there's two safeties, usually. And they have to make a decision of who they're going to go out and help, whether they're going to go right or whether they're going to go left. And to me, right now, with Hooker and Wilson, they haven't played it enough, or they just can't read well on what the receivers are doing. Because every time they're wide open, it's because the safety has made the wrong read and gone to the other side of the field. And that leaves a person wide open because the corner's only going to go back so far in the zone. Because how many times has Trevon Diggs got up, and he's yelling at the safety, or he's looking at the safety like, dude, where were you? I'm supposed to have help over the top. It's not happening. I mean, I'm seeing Diggs getting pissed off every week, and I agree with it. Where is the damn safety? You guys are making the wrong reads. That's why this defense is not set up to constantly run freaking zone, because your safeties, unless you have a star safety back there, you've got to use it only when you're sure it's one of those plays that you should be in zone, where they've got a 3rd and 12 or a 3rd and 15. But when it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, good gracious, playing 15 yards off with your corners. This is something Mike Zimmer used to do. Drove me crazy.
Well, here's the thing: is Trayvon Diggs doesn't even be saying nothing to anybody, because sometimes he'll go rogue and he'll try to lazy ass press, and then he'll trip and fall and give up a big play. I don't want to hear anything from Diggs. He ain't going to be on this team next year. He has regressed as a player. And it doesn't matter if you have Kyle Hamilton. It doesn't matter if you have effing Ed Reed back there right now. You don't get any pressure on the quarterback. So it doesn't matter. You can take your pick of safeties in the league right now. It all balances off each other. So the safety play, you're right, has been horrible. All right. But you don't get any pressure on the quarterback outside of a couple times with Houston, and he's undersized, so he can't play all the time. He takes a beating too much. Sam Williams is not the guy we thought he was going to be. Nealon's not the guy. And the young rook from Boston College coming off the edge is, he's a rookie. You shouldn't be relying on him to get you double-digit sacks or consistent pressure on the quarterback. So this team isn't. They're not going to make the playoffs. Dallas Nation, go ahead and make some golf trip plans during the playoffs, because it's not going to happen. And
you want to know the biggest offseason loss the Cowboys had? To me, was Al Harris, their secondary coach. That was the biggest loss they had.
Another one you're not going to give me credit on?
Why is it always got to be about you got to get credit for some
because
shit?
You
maybe I'm just
that
reiterating it.
And you think it's original. I said that Al Harris should have been.
I didn't say this is an original thought by me. I just said the biggest loss was Al Harris. And if you've said that before, well, great on you. But who gives a shit? Just go with the damn show. Why you got to freaking point that shit out all the time? Look at me. I already said that shit. Good
I just
gracious.
wish you would remember some things. I know you're getting a little senile up there. You got to remember some things that are said on the show.
So we can't repeat something if Casey, the remake, said it before.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just remember things.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, I remember the thing.
Give me credit. Well, here's your gold star. Let me put that shit up there. Gold star.
Man, you took some sensitive juice tonight. You need a hug. Folks, the old man needs a hug. I'll give him an air hug during this commercial break. When we come back, we'll be doing our roundabout the NFL. Obviously, you said Dan Quinn's in the house. Are you? Is he going to be there? We didn't talk about the Commanders game coming up. We're going to do a little preview with the Dan Quinn when we come back, and then get into our roundabout.
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, let's hear from our sponsors after this heated discussion about America's team. We're just getting started tonight. Stick around with us, because when we come back, you just heard, I'll be talking to Dan Quinn, the former defensive coordinator. Might get his thoughts on this defense and what he thinks about the matchup this coming Sunday. So,
parents, help your student find their true path with the Berkman Career Assessment. Imagine if you had discovered your true passion right after high school. How much further along would you be in a fulfilling life? Now picture giving that gift to your student. The Berkman Career Assessment is designed to uncover the career paths that align with your student's unique personality, interests, and needs. Don't let them wander through years of uncertainty. Equip them with clarity and confidence to pursue a future where they thrive. Act now. Invest in their purpose with Berkman today at easyleadership.com or email us for a free career checkup.
All right, welcome back. Should be joined by the head coach of the Washington Commanders. All right, Dan Quinn, first time on the show. Welcome, good sir. I missed in our production.
Man, how's everybody doing? Let's get pumped up. How about those Commanders, huh? Aren't we're first in our division. We're going to win this thing. Going to the Super Bowl. Hey, big.
All right, Dan Quinn, very hyped up there. First in the division. Are we sure?
Maybe tied or maybe one behind the
Eagles are 4-2. The Commanders are 3-3. But you lost your quarterback. You got your quarterback back last week. How's Jaden Daniels looking this week in practice?
He is looking awesome. Not just awesome, but awesome. Because when you look at him, you say, oh, that's some good shit right there, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We are going to get the Cowboys' ass.
Well, I
That's what
was
we're gonna
about
do.
to ask you how you're feeling going into this weekend. Obviously, you've seen what's been going on. What are your thoughts? How y'all going to attack the?
Nothing. That was just a message.
Hey, threw me off a little bit. How are y'all going to attack this Cowboys defense that is being historically bad this year?
The same way the rest of the league's attacking it. We're going to throw the football down the field because right now, and here's the thing, it rips my heart out. Not that much, though. It rips my heart out is that defense used to be good. Under me, it was awesome. We were awesome. Not just awesome, but awesome. Because we could go out there and people would go, oh, that's some shit going on right there because they're good. So I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys, you better get ready, baby, because here comes the bomb. The bomb here, the bomb there, the bomb there. We are going to come in as a commander flying I'm not going to use the word jet airplane, but fighter airplane or a bomber, and we're going to blow those Cowboys out the water. That's what's happening.
You mentioned throwing the ball around. You've seen how defenses have ran on the Cowboys defense. 6.1 yards a carry by Dowdle. Do y'all plan on attacking that way? Shredding the defense in that particular way.
As bad as the Cowboys secondary is, I don't even think we're going to dress the running back because we don't even need one because they're so bad right now. The Commanders, they're like a little lieutenant junior grade, and we're the commander coming in to take over and run this thing. I'm going to tell you right now, the Cowboys, and like I said, I feel sorry for the players. JJ, not so much. But the players, I feel sorry for them because the offense, the Cowboys offense coming in, pretty good. Dak, I love Dak, but I'm sorry. I coach another team, and we may have a stupid name, but I have to go with that name because it's on our logo. So the Commanders
you
are
mentioned
going to be awesome.
You mentioned Dak Prescott. He's been playing at almost an MVP level, I would say. What's your plan of attack to try to slow down this offense for the Cowboys? Because they seem to be pretty dang good this year.
Well, if you haven't noticed, our defense is pretty dang good too. And we got a big play for them. It's called awesome. We are going to be awesome. And Dak,
okay.
I'm sorry. I love you, Dak, but you're going to be running for your life, my friend. We got some people up front. We got some people in the back. And unfortunately, CD's not going to be there. So you're going to be in trouble. So I might even suit up for this game. You never know. I'm feeling pretty feisty out there.
That'd be a first, maybe in NFL history, player coach right there. And how many plays you think you got, Coach Quinn?
Probably about 2, but that's okay. Special
Fair.
teams.
Fair enough. I can respect that number. Well, you struggled a little bit without your quarterback. He's back. The Washington Commander, do you see you taking that next step, getting to the NFC Championship game, to the Super Bowl? Is that what's in the Commanders' future?
Well, I do believe we were in the NFC Championship last year.
Oh, yeah. I think get there and get to the Super Bowl.
And I think that was a step. And now this year, we're going to take that extra step. And we're going to be awesome, baby. We are going to be awesome.
All
and
right.
we are going to go to the Super Bowl. That's where we're headed. Just like anybody who's ever said we're going to the Super Bowl, we're going to the Super Bowl. And I need everybody to get on board the Commander train, because we are headed to the promised land.
All right. Well, Coach Quinn, I can appreciate your enthusiasm, and we appreciate you stopping by. You got me. Well, I can't cheer for you because you're playing the Cowboys this weekend, but I got to say, you do have a hell of a quarterback. You got some players on defense I know we wish we had here in Dallas. So we appreciate the time. And until the next time the Cowboys play the Commanders, we wish you nothing but, I'll be honest, nothing but losses. That's sorry, we can't cheer for you. It's not in my blood, but you're a good dude, and we appreciate you coming on. So,
all right, well, go get you a DQ, because that DQ is my initials. DQ. They got good ice cream there in Texas. Get you a DQ, dude, or a DQ.
All right. We'll make sure we have a blizzard for you next time you're on.
All right. We're going to be awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
We're out of this interview now. All right. Dan Quinn for the first time on the show. Interesting. Very energetic. I like it. I bet you if we brought old Schottenheimer, which rumors are he may be on the show here soon. If we brought him on the show, I wonder if he'd be as enthusiastic. So, all right. Yeah.
Well, all right. There he went.
So Dan Quinn, very enthusiastic gentleman. That seems very infectious.
Yes, he is. He uses that awesome quite a bit, but players love him because he is about being fired up.
He is fired. He was fired up. All right, let's get to the rest of the NFL performances that stood out. A couple things that you called that I was not on board with. Obviously, we go back to the Cowboys, or I'm sorry, Eagles, Giants. You're riding the Scatterboo train hype, or hype train, I should say. That's probably your new favorite player this year. And
no.
That's correct.
So, he is one of them, but I'm still on the Baker Mayfield train. He is my favorite player right now. But
what's amazing is I don't think you could stand him in college. So
no, because he played for Oklahoma
and Texas Tech before that. So
yeah.
The Giants' performance against the Eagles, I think, was I tweeted this out. Man, we're witnessing something with the Giants, and it's not good for the rest of the NFC East. I think the Giants, I don't think this is a flash in the pan thing. I think this is building towards something for years to come. I don't know how long Scatterboo will be a part of that because of his running style, but Jackson Dart is the biggest key on that. And they got something in Jackson Dart. The Giant organization haven't made a lot of great moves when it comes to the draft, but this is one of them, at least on the offensive side of the ball, I should say. And they have a tendency of ruining quarterbacks, so they seem to figure that out this year. So something's brewing in New York, and on the opposite side, I think something negative is brewing in Philadelphia. And I think they could be on a verge of the collapse like they had 2 years ago, because it ain't looking pretty right now.
That's what I was going to touch on, is because yes, I agree with you. I think the Giants got something going, but we'll see how consistent this stays. The problem with the coach that they have now is that it's consistency, even when he's had some pretty decent players. But yeah, I do think Dart and Scatterboo have interjected that, kind of like when Dak and Zeke came on the scene. They're fresh legs, they're new. But on the Eagles side of it, there's problems there. First off, running the tush push 7 freaking times, or how many times they ran it, was ridiculous. And so that's going to be banned next year. I can see it now, because it's getting ridiculous. And here's my whole thing. Okay, and go back and look at the replay of this game if you have it. But the right guard for the Eagles stands up before the play the whole damn time, and he's still moving when they hike the ball on. And that's not just the tush push. The tush push, he's freaking false. He's offsides every single time, which is a big complaint because the refs aren't calling it. But since when does an offensive lineman not have to get set in his stance before they hike the ball?
Well,
on the Eagles, they allow it every damn play, and it was really annoying to watch.
Yeah, I think the tush push is on its way to being voted out. I think they almost had the numbers last year. I think it's gotten on everyone's nerves. I think you saw running it that many times. I believe a Giants player got hurt on one of the tush pushes. It's an ugly form of football. It takes it back to the Leatherheads almost, is what it feels like.
Well, here's my thing: is the person who's going to get hurt is Jalen Hurts, because he's even said it. He does not like running the play because he's not in control of his body.
Right.
He's basically,
I mean, they're starting right tackle Mualata. I probably mispronounced his name, but the all pro right tackle, or left tackle, I should say, he doesn't like running it either. I don't think Jason Kelsey particularly like running it. So it's one of those things that good for them for finding something within the rules, but I think it's on its way to being taken away. So, but more than that, the Eagles' passing offense has been really, really bad. You got 2 wide receivers that are frustrated in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You had the controversy on, was there a meeting, wasn't there a meeting? I think ultimately, man, that is going to be I think something's brewing there pretty negative. I don't see the Eagles repeating as champs unless they really figure something out. And I think what you have to do, or the biggest difference this year, is really their running. Saquon Barkley is on pace for less than 1,000 yards. Like, after rushing for 2,000 plus, he might rush for less than 1,000 this year. And I know his skill set hasn't dropped off that much. So that's what carried him last year, and it's not the same this year.
But this has been the MO with Barkley, and why he had problems with New York. Now, a lot of that had to do with injury, but the thing is, he can't stay consistent year to year. And I think that's what we're seeing. But then again, a lot of this has to do with the fact that they have no passing game. for some reason, and I think Hurts is in his right mind back there. That's why I think there's so much stuff going on in his head of negativity or something. He doesn't look right.
Well, I think he's starting to show you that he's not a gunslinger quarterback. He's a runner that can throw the ball. I mean, he's, and I know people are going to be like, "Oh, look, he won a Super Bowl. He did all this. He won, everywhere he went." I don't know about. He's not a. To me, he's a barely better version of Tim Tebow. Like,
well, let's just go back to last year. Last year, the knock on him was that he's not doing a whole lot, but he's winning football games. But last year, he had a Barkley that was running over teams, and so this year it's more on his shoulders because Barkley is not being that same running back he was last year. And we're seeing that he can't carry that team on his shoulders. At least to this point, he hasn't shown me that he can.
Well, that's what I was saying. Barkley isn't going to be doing something at a competent level out of the backfield that doesn't open up things for the wide receivers with play action pass and things of that nature. It's not going to work in Philadelphia because Jalen Hurts, he's a good quarterback. He's in the right system. And I think what you have to do right now, and you got to give credit where credit is due. I don't think he's going to be too much in the head coaching game, but Kellen Moore, he knew what he was doing with that offense, and he put them in positions to win, and they obviously went and won a Super Bowl. So I think Kellen Moore, they're missing him more than they thought they would. So, shout out to him. But, last year, Jalen Hurts, had 2,900 yards passing, and only 18 passing touchdowns, and he had a lot more rushing. I don't have it here in front of me. I just have the passing stats in front of me, unfortunately. So bad on my part. But ultimately, he's never been a prolific passer, and so if they get down or they get in a trouble situation or they're not in a position to be in a 3rd and short for that tush push type situation, they're probably not going to pick it up. And like I said, and I think you agree. I think you agreed with me in the fact of something's brewing out there. But other than that, last week, we talked about the Panthers destroying the Cowboys. The Colts win again. The Colts 4-1 right now. Now they've beaten
5-1. 5-1.
Huh?
The Colts are 5-1.
No, sorry, 5-1. But you look at their competition; they have a pretty weak schedule. They're one of the worst divisions in football last year, so they're not playing the top of the top. But they're playing who's on their schedule. So the Colts, we're going to start seeing if they're for real here soon. And I thought a surprising performance last week was the Jags coming back to earth after that really great performance on Monday Night Football against I believe it was the Chiefs, or was it Buffalo? I think it was Buffalo, because Buffalo's lost 2 straight.
Yeah, so it was Buffalo.
Yeah, so the Jags beat Buffalo on that crazy last play where Lawrence wins and they kind of come back to earth. And then the Bills struggling the last 2 weeks. Josh Allen looks not right. He doesn't look like his MVP self. And I think this is where you're starting to see, and you've pointed this out about the Bills offense before, and I think you may have said it last year, is they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. And so when things break down, when they need a play or a guy to go get a ball, they don't have that guy. And when things aren't rolling, it's Josh Allen trying to figure it out all on his own. And that is difficult for any quarterback. You've seen, other than Mahomes and Brady, most quarterbacks don't win without a big time receiver. So Those are the performances from last week that kind of stood out to me. Were there any that I didn't mention that kind of caught your eye?
Well, you did mention a couple that I was going to talk about, but the one the Seahawks are a little bit better than people thought they were going to be. Sam Darnold is being what he was doing, and well, maybe not so much as what he was doing with the Vikings. He's being very efficient. He's not turning the ball over, and yeah, the Jags. That was surprising that they fell so far of only scoring 12 points. But Seattle's a little bit better than most people thought they were. Um, when do we get to the point where the Jets need to just blow everything up? And the Broncos, which was surprising, only beat them by 2 points. So the Jets still have somewhat of a defense, but I think they had minus 10 passing yards for the game.
Yeah.
And
Negative 10 passing yards for an entire game is insane.
And this is my whole point. Stop sending these teams overseas because they send one good team and one really crappy team. That's how it always works. And nobody gives a crap. So stop sending. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear about Sir George and his opinion of games in London, but since we had Dan Quinn, we'll bring Sir George on next week for sure. But yeah, the Broncos barely beating the Jets, and the Jets playing as bad as they did. I don't know if that's a detriment on how bad the Jets are, or the Broncos just playing down to their competition ultimately. So, yeah, but the negative 10 yards stood out to me. Justin Fields, I'm sorry, you're not an NFL quarterback. That experiment is over. It's time to move on from that. I didn't think it could be worse than, well, I did think it could be worse than what they had last year, because the last 6 weeks of the year with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers played pretty well, and Aaron Rodgers is playing pretty well in Pittsburgh right now because they're leading that division, and I believe they're 4-1 or 5-1, something of that nature.
Yes, they're 4-1.
So
4-1.
I actually think the Steelers are going to win that division now. Which I didn't think. I think we all thought Baltimore would run away with that division, and it'd be them in Cincinnati, which obviously Joe Burrow going out in that situation, and them, how about it? By the way, a guy who sat there and whined and cried and I want out, and then he takes the money, Myles Garrett. I love you because you're an Aggie, but you don't have any room to talk and complain about what's going on in Cleveland like you've been complaining this last week after you were trying to bitch out of it and want to be traded and out of Cleveland because you knew the situation. And then you go, oh, you want to pay me that? Oh, I can be in Cleveland for that. And now you're complaining on the situation in Cleveland. No, you ain't got no room to talk, Myles. I'm sorry. You're a great player. I would trade every single player on my defense for you because that's how great you are. But you ain't got no feet to stand on after you bitched and moaned and complained about being in Cleveland, and then you took the money to stay in Cleveland. Lay in that bed and deal with what you got to deal with up there. That's probably, if we had a sports peeve subject tonight, that would have been on my sports peeves of Myles Garrett complaining about that situation. So, all right, let's move to the Texans. All right, Texans, you mentioned Sam Darnold, Seattle Seahawks, Texans Seahawks this weekend. Seahawks playing pretty well. Texans still trying to find their offense, even though they did blow out the last team they played and looked kind of good the last 2 weeks. To me, it was a little bit of fool's gold. What are your predictions for this game? It's probably going to give away some of our picks, or one of our picks, because we always do the Texans game. But what are you seeing on the horizon for the Texans?
Well, Texans got to go to Seattle, and Seattle is playing very good at home. I just think the Texans right now are extremely inconsistent. We don't know which Stroud quarterback we're getting, the one who's consistent, throws the ball well, or we're getting the one who who overthrows and underthrows everybody. Whereas on the other side of the ball, just what I was just talking about, Sam Darnold has been very consistent, doesn't turn the ball over. So I think the Texans are going to have a really tough time in Seattle. I think um, they just they're not consistent enough, and they turn the ball over, whereas Seahawks don't. So my edge is with the Seahawks winning this game. I mean, obviously that gives away one of my picks, but I just don't think the Texans can go up there and uh, win in Seattle.
Yeah, I think your assessment right there is 100% spot on. Um, and I think the Texans offense is still left wanting at this situation. You know, the talk's been down there. Should they fire the OC? Same thing, you know, up in Dallas with Eberflus. So that's how bad the Texans offense has been. Now, the last game, it was a blowout. They could pretty much do whatever they wanted. And, you know, we'll see if that continues and see if they can compete with Seattle. We all know going to Seattle, the 12th man up there, the so-called 12th man. We know who the real 12th man is. But, you know, the Seahawks, yeah, I think, and I think you actually may have mentioned this before the season. So, you know, we had a little back and forth. I like credit when credit is due. I give you credit where credit is due. I think you said something about Seattle being a sneaky good team before the season started. So, but I tend to agree with you on this. Seattle, which I didn't think they had it. You know, they traded DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh, and that was before George Pickens gets traded to Dallas. So I thought Pittsburgh had the best wide receiver duo in the NFL until Pickens was traded to Dallas. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you, Seattle Seahawks there. So, all right. Well, I think that'll wrap up our NFL roundabout and our Texas preview. Let's go ahead and get to our second sponsor break. Some more words from easyleadership.com.
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right, easyleadership.com. Please check us out and get your leadership development program up to par.
All right. Well, for those hockey fans in the legion and the millions, or should I say dozens of fans we have. For the hockey fans in the group, it's time to hit the ice, man. The hockey season is off and running. So we're both Dallas Stars fans. I've been fans, you know, since they came to Dallas. I was a kid in '92, so you were enjoying the West Coast and the Navy in San Diego in '92, but you were still cheering for the Stars. You actually got me into hockey because of your fandom of the Stars. So, and I saw a video the other day before we talk about the first few games of the Star season. They were interviewing people outside the AAC in Dallas, and they were like, "Are you a casual fan or diehard?" And almost all of them were like, "I'm diehard. I'm diehard." And they're like, "What year did the Stars win the cup?" And they're like, 2020. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you are not it's 99, guys. 1999 is the cup year. And then they'd be like, whose statue is that over there? And they'd be like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't know whose statue is in front of the American Airlines Center for the Dallas Stars. It's freaking the greatest Stars player of all time and Mike Modano. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know who the name's on the statue and you're standing in Victory Plaza. Holy Christ. It made me happy and sad. There were some Stars fans who got it. But so Stars are 3-0 to start the season. Won a shootout in Colorado. Rantanen gets some more revenge on Colorado. Matter of fact, the Colorado coach says he hopes they don't see Dallas again because they don't play again until March. But 3-0, scored 5 goals in each of the 5 games. Good start. Duchesne did take a nasty hit last night. I think he might be out with maybe a little bit of a concussion issue for a little bit. Their leading point scorer from last year. But what do you think of this initial start to the season for the Dallas Stars? Is it making you excited? Is it making you think they are a Stanley Cup contender or they should win the Cup this year? Where are your feels at with this team?
Well, we're going to have to see as the season rolls along. I mean, it's a long season. We have a new coach. If we had our coach from last year, then I would definitely say yes. But once again, it's a long season. But they are out of the gate hot. There actually are only 2 undefeated teams. A lot of people would say Colorado is undefeated, but they've had a tie. So we're going to see.
There are no ties.
Overtime. Okay, well, they won in overtime. Okay, so we got 3 undefeated teams. And the Avalanche, sorry, Avalanche fans. But yes, so we have that, and the Stars
Colorado
coming out
lost
the
to
gate.
Dallas in overtime. That's what that is.
Yes. Then why is that loss not up on the thing for me? That's weird.
Probably a shootout loss.
Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, I think they have a good chance, but right behind them is going to be those Golden Knights and those Oilers, which are going to be good again too, and obviously the Avalanche. So yes, I think the Stars will be right in the thick of it, but we're going to have to see how they handle the playoffs. We know past few years they've done pretty well. They haven't finished the job because you have a certain team called the Florida Panthers that seem to just want to take everybody out. And there's also the Carolina Hurricanes. So, yeah, do I think they'll be there? Yes. Do I think they'll win the cup? I think it's too early to make that call yet. I mean, unless you're forcing me to make the call, but I just think you've got a long season ahead of you.
Well, of course, long
Unfortunately, in
season.
hockey, you're going to get a lot of injuries.
Yeah, long season, injuries, things of that nature. But I think if they're relatively healthy, I think they should be the favorite to win the cup. Other than the Florida Panthers, if we're going for a three-peat in hockey, which I think that's been done a couple of times. But every move Dallas made this offseason, including the coach, was to get that next step. They bring back a former coach they had, who was an assistant for the Oilers, who has beat the Stars the last 2 years in the Western Conference Finals after making it 3 straight. So I would argue that it's not necessarily the Golden Knights that's the bugaboo. I think it's the Oilers that are the bugaboo these last couple of years, because the Stars have beat the Golden Knights in that playoff run, and they think they beat them twice 2 out of those 3 years. So, but they are always a problem. They're not an easy team to get past, but they'll be at the top of the standings by the end of the year. Bringing back Fosca and re-signing Blackwell, as well as Lundqvist and Bork, and signing Duchesne to an extension. All these are moves to go win a Stanley Cup. And, and I think the Pete DeBoer move, I think it surprised me, to be honest. moving off your coach, just taking you 3 straight Western Conference Finals. But you've seen this in sports before, where a coach can get you to a point, and for some reason, you just need a different voice, little different message, maybe a little different tactic at a certain time, to get you over that hump. So, yeah, I think it could be a good move, but I think the Stars are expecting cup or bust, and I think they're going to be representing the West in the Western Conference, or in the Stanley Cup Finals this year, finally. So, but yeah, good start. In the playoffs, it was scoring was the issue. They're averaging 5 goals a game right now. That's pretty damn good number to average. And Otters played pretty well starting the season as well after being pulled in that last game against the Oilers. I think that was part of the reason why Pete DeBoer was fired, because he pulled Otter in that last game, even though Otter doesn't have a good track record against the Oils, and he gave up 2 goals on 2 shots in that first period in that last game. So, but like you said, long season ahead. And
let me just something that caught my eye that I've been wondering about. Out of all the team names, you have Canadians, Capitals, Devils, Wings, Stars, Knights, Oilers, Kraken. Why is it Utah Mammoth? Why isn't it Utah Mammoths? Is that just too hard to say? I mean,
listen, I'm going to say this. The Utah, they won. I would have loved it. They would have left it as the Utah Hockey Club. All right. But if you're going to have a mascot, the name Blizzard was on the horizon for them. I would have liked the Utah Blizzard. I like the name Blizzard in that context, but the Mammoth or the Mammoths, yeah, saying Mammoths is a little more difficult. So I'm going to say that.
Can you name the one other team that is not plural?
The Avalanche.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah. All right. I didn't catch that one. How about the other one?
Oh, name another team that isn't plural?
Yes,
in hockey?
That isn't plural. Yes.
The Kraken.
The Kraken?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one more.
You just keep... you didn't look at the list very hard. No, it's Rangers, Highlander. No,
don't be looking at the list.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting here thinking. I'm running through them in my brain because I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to think of all the hockey teams off the top of my head. I'm just trying to see if I can. Wild.
Yes, that's it.
Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild. That was the one I was looking for first.
The Stars beat last night. So the game was on ESPN. Did you happen to catch it by chance?
No.
So, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to stay up. I thought I was going to be a little tired from it, but I did end up staying and watching the whole game. So, but
I maybe someone from Utah can let me know, why is it just one Mammoth?
We just struggle with saying mammoths.
Mammoths.
It makes everyone sound like they have a list.
Question about mammoths.
What is the plural? Is the plural for mammoth mammoths?
It might be a mammite.
What's a herd of mammoths called? That's what we need to know.
Extinct. That's what.
Well, they are extinct. Well, I know there's some scientists trying to bring them back, but oh man. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and head into the NBA, and then we'll take our last commercial break and then get into the home stretch. So the NBA season is on the horizon. And so I want to know from the old man specifically, where does he see the Rockets, the Mavericks, and the Spurs at the what's his outlook? How's he feeling about these 3 Texas teams? And Yeah, we're still in the preseason right now. I think we got about a week and a half left of that, and then the season starts up. And we generally don't start paying attention to basketball until um, around Christmas time, the new year, once football is kind of getting into the playoffs and college football is wrapping up, things of that nature. So um, let's start in Houston. What are your they make the trade for Kevin Durant. That trade is made to put them over the top. They were the second seed in the Western Conference last year. So do you think this move for Durant gets them over the top? Do you expect them to? Now, they did lose Fred VanVleet, their starting point guard, so they're searching for answers there. Do you see Houston being championship or bust?
I have no damn clue.
Okay. Well, all right. Well,
but
at least you're honest.
And the reason I say that is because I don't know if this Durant move is going to be a good one or not. I mean, I've always kind of liked Durant. I think he's definitely a good player. I've watched him since the Thunder, since he played for Texas. But we'll have to see. They tend to make these moves like when they got Harden, uh, back in the day, Grady, all these different ones, and it just doesn't seem to work. So I don't know about Houston.
Well, I will say that was a different GM with the Harden experiment with Westbrook and Dwight Howard and all that stuff. I will give the Rockets organization as a whole in its history, it's not afraid to make moves. Durant has never been an alpha in anywhere he's been. He wasn't the alpha in Oklahoma City. That was Westbrook. He wasn't the alpha in Golden State. That was Steph. He wasn't the alpha in Brooklyn when that went horribly. It didn't work in Phoenix. Durant is a good hired gun, but I don't. He's never been a guy to take a team absolutely over the top. And at pushing almost 40 years old now, because I think he's 37. He can still score. He still has that skill set, but he's not a top 3, top 5 player in the league. And I think it was a mistake by Houston. And that's been my issue with all the sports folks in the Houston area. A lot of them love this trade. And, a lot of people say I criticize it because I'm a Dallas guy. No, I don't. You were the second seed in the West last year, a very difficult Western Conference, by the way. You have a young core. Let that grow. Let that continue. People get too itchy trigger fingers in modern day sports, and they just don't let things develop. Then look what Oklahoma City did. The best team in the league last year won a championship. They let things grow organically. Look at the Utah Jazz. They let things grow organically and win a championship. Or not the Jazz, the Nuggets. I'm sorry, not the Jazz, the Denver Nuggets. Sorry. So you had a great young core. You had some really talented players that gave you the ammunition to make a trade like this. If you're going to make a trade like this, you want to do it for a young, experienced superstar, and to me, not an aging guy who hasn't got it done in any place he's been other than a Steph Curry all-star team in Golden State. So I think they'll be at the top of the West in the standings. I think they'll falter in the first or second round in the playoffs. That's where I think the Rockets are going to be. Now the Spurs, Wemby looks insane in preseason right now. I don't know if you've caught any of the highlights, and I know the Spurs are kind of your team, kind of not your team. I don't know where you're at with that right now, but the Spurs with Wemby and Castle and De'Aaron Fox, and then they took the young point guard, I think, out of not Rutgers, may have been Rutgers, with their top 5 pick last year. Man, the Spurs are building something, and it could be dangerous. And Wemby's looking like he's starting to learn how to be more physical. I think the Spurs are a playoff team this year. I really do. You think that's a crazy prediction?
No, I don't think it's a crazy prediction at all. I think, given, I can't say his name right. Say Wimby.
Wimby-Yama. Just say
Wimby-Yama. I
Wimby.
always say,
Just say Wimby. Everyone knows who you're talking about if you just say Wimby.
Yeah. Wimby is coming into having some experience now and hopefully he's completely healthy. Yes, I think they definitely have a chance to go the playoffs as long as he lives up to what he was supposed to be when he first got here. I mean, you're 7'3", and you're
Oh
not
no,
like
he grew.
Huh?
He grew 2 inches. He's 7'5" now.
He grew 2 inches.
Yeah, I saw
Wow.
that story on Sports Center the other day. He's now 7'5".
Wow. Okay, so being that in shape at that height, he should dominate the league. And that is anybody else that height in the league? I don't know if
No,
there is.
and if they are, they're not that athletic like he is. I think
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren might be 7'1". He's kind of the same build. And you and me like to make fun of Chet Holmgren. Someone give that man a sandwich still.
Yeah, he needs to eat a sandwich.
But he literally is the ugliest player. He's not the ugliest. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say the way he plays and watch him play is the ugliest thing I watch in basketball, because it's just, I swear he's going to snap in half. And I'm just like, this dude, like guys like Wimby and him and other centers around the league, when they say shit like Shaquille O'Neal couldn't dominate in today's game, you're going to try to guard Shaq with Chet Holmgren? Are you serious? Like,
Shaq would sneeze and he would fall over.
I know. Like, I just don't. It's hilarious. But a little off topic there. But I think the Spurs are a playoff team. I think Wemby is going to take another step forward. I think he could be in the MVP conversation, honestly, if they're in the playoff picture. And as long as he stays healthy. But his size does scare me. Big guys tend to get hurt. I don't wish that on any big guy by any means. But you've seen it throughout the history of the league, especially guys over 7'2". So it's a little scary, but they have a lot brewing in San Antonio. That's a positive. So, which could be, once again, not good for the rest of the league. All right. The Dallas Mavericks, I'm sure they're still screaming fire Nico, even though the team he's put together is looking pretty solid. Not going to lie, Cooper Flag is looking really good in preseason after that first game. I think he is going to be the rookie of the year. I think the Dallas Mavericks make the playoffs, and ultimately, because they'll get Kyrie back in February, March. This is a homer pick. I think they're a Western Conference Final team. They have the deepest roster in the league, easily.
Well, do I think? Well, it's as I said, it's going to be a long season, and the Spurs and the Mavericks play first game of the season, so we get to see Wemby and Flag up against each other. So, yeah, I just think it's a long season. I think the Spurs and Dallas will be there at the end, and we'll just have to see how that goes. As far as the rest of the league, you've got your usual soap opera with the Lakers again and LeBron. So, as far as the rest of the league goes, we're going to be looking at Boston again.
Yeah, a lot of players coming back from injury, so that'll have to take shape. And depending on when they come back in the season, Jason Tatum, for Boston and many others. You know, LeBron James has got to get his nerve irritation under control, otherwise known as sciatica. You know, just roll that shit out and get out there and play basketball, you weenie. Luka, and in shape Luka Doncic, I'm interested to see what he does this year. I don't think the Lakers are a big time team by any means. I think they'll be in the playoff picture, but I don't think they're top of the standings team. But yeah, you mentioned Dallas, San Antonio starting out. I just think Dallas has one of the deepest rosters in the league, and when you start looking at it position by position, especially when Kyrie gets back, you start at the strength of their team at that center forward, power forward position. It's with Lively and Gafford, which I'm hearing rumors Gafford may or may not be traded, just because of playing time and maybe paying them. But I Gafford, Lively down there. You have Max Christie, who had a really good season after the trade last year. Anthony Davis, if he can stay, you mentioned the health. I think we even said this last year after Davis was traded. If everyone is healthy, so if Davis can stay healthy, if Lively can get hurt, this team was ravaged by injuries. You got D'Angelo Russell, Kyrie Irving, Najee Marshall, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg. Once the season gets underway, we'll have Coach J. Kidd on the show, of course, and talk about his extension. The Mavericks just extended his contract, by the way. So I think the Mavericks are a sneaky, really, really good team. I think they're about 10, 11, 12 deep. And, especially once they get Kyrie Irving back, they're going to be a problem. And no one's going to want to face them in the playoffs with Lively, Cooper Flagg. And Coop has been looking really good in preseason, like we said, or like I said. So, all right. We'll tackle more NBA as the season goes on and our 3 Texas teams. But let's go here. Our last commercial break from easyleadership.com.
Attention leaders planning your 2025 leadership retreat. Are you about to throw $30,000 to $40,000 out the door on flashy speakers and trendy activities that lose impact in 2 months? Don't waste your budget on short-lived inspiration. Partner with Easy Leadership and harness the disc work of leaders to gain real data insights into your company's real-world issues. We'll uncover your team's strengths and tackle critical challenges in vision, alignment, and execution, creating a strategic action plan that drives lasting, measurable results. Act now. Contact Easy Leadership at easyleadership.com to invest in leadership that transforms your organization for the long haul.
At easyleadership.com. Don't waste your money on a leadership retreat and everybody forget everything by January. Easyleadership.com. Talk to us. It's free to talk.
Or spend that 30 grand and bring easyleadership.com to your retreat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
By the way, did you ever get the thing on like these live streams on people watching people game? I just never got that.
No, a lot of kids do. I only do that to figure out how to beat something, but I can't sit there and watch somebody just play. But
I would rather play the game myself.
Yeah, it's a big entertainment thing now.
Oh, I know. I was looking at some of the other lives during that commercial, and there's a gamer with like 2,000 people watching them just play a game, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I mean, kudos to them. They're getting they figured out something we haven't. All right. Major League Baseball playoff updates. You got the Dodgers up 2-0 on the good old Milwaukee Brewers. Ohtani is cold, and Max Muncy is hot. Hit the home run to center field, kind of pushed them over the the threshold of victory last night. And then you have the Mariners up 2-0. I'm having a hard time cheering for the Mariners. There's a part of me that really wants to cheer for them just because I remember the Griffey days, and Griffey was like the coolest dude in baseball when I was growing up. And, Griffey Jr., that is. And he just made the Mariners cool, I guess you could say. And, but it's the Mariners. I don't know. I just have a hard time cheering for them because they're in the AFC or AL West. And I don't like them. So, but
Well, Seattle's got pitchers, and they are just throwing them out there, and no pun intended. But
nah, you meant to do that.
I think these series are already over. I don't think the Brewers are going to come back and catch the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are just too good.
Well,
and
they're
I think
an all-star.
Seattle, huh?
The Dodgers are an all-star team.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So
Like
the fact that Milwaukee's already down 2-0, I just don't see any way.
yeah, with the next 3 in LA. Which
So and Seattle is just pitching lights out, and Toronto doesn't seem to have an answer for that. So it's to me, it's Seattle and LA are headed to the World Series unless something drastically changes.
yeah, I would agree with you, and I have a tendency to lean towards the Seattle fandom on that because Toronto and the Rangers history. I will never be able to cheer for Toronto. The Batista bat flip, and then Odor making one of the best pitchers of all time, punching Batista in the face the next season. One of my favorite baseball moments ever. It's up there with Nolan Ryan headlocking Robin Ventura. So I agree with you. Now you want to talk about pitching. The Dodgers pitching has been insane. Blake Snell went 8 innings, 1 hit, I think, or I think it was no hit, or maybe I think he had a no hitter going into the 8th, and then gave up 1 hit in the 8th. And then Yamamoto for the Dodgers sits there and complete game. You don't see that in today's baseball. A complete game by a starter. Most teams want their starter to go 4 innings, 5 innings, which to me is just asinine. I like the old school way of pitching is your starter goes as long as they can, and racks up innings and strikeouts and wins. And now it's like, oh, just get us through 4 innings and we'll pay you $30 million a year. Well, why would I try to pitch 9 innings? The last complete game in the playoffs was 2017. Can you guess the pitcher?
2017?
Yep. I'll give you
Clemens? Clemens?
No, Clemens was long retired by then. No, it wasn't Astro though. Justin Verlander.
Oh, okay.
Justin Verlander in 2017. So I agree with you. I think it's the Dodgers, Seattle, and in that realm, I'll definitely be cheering for Seattle to take down. But this sparks another conversation. Does baseball need a salary cap? You have the Dodgers spending over $430 million when you add in the deferred money that they signed all these players for, and with $430 million this year, and Milwaukee Brewers have $130 million payroll. Does baseball need a salary cap? That might be a debate for another day, because
yes, they do.
I tend to agree, but we can delve a little deeper in that a little later. I think it's a competitive balance thing. Like I said, the Dodgers have an all-star team, and they're paying for that all-star team almost $500 million a year, which to me is crazy. But let's get to picks with Pops. All right, we are tied after last week. 22-14 apiece after 35
Hang on
games.
1 second. Hang on one second. Were we going to talk college football before or after this?
No, it's right after the picks with Pops. If you look at
I didn't print the new one since you gave me that, but
Well,
okay, picks with Pops. Go.
Yeah, college football is after with picks and pops. 35 games picked. We missed 1 week because I was a sickly child that got no love from his father. And yeah.
You sound like you're a Somali or something. That just
Somali.
doesn't even sound. Yeah, so when you say you're a sickly child, just send your contribution of $2.99 can help the sickly child who gets no fatherly love with a week's worth of groceries.
I could have used some chicken noodle soup. I'm just saying. All right, but we are tied through this point in the season picking NFL games. We just pick them. We're not picking against the spread. We're not that serious about it. We're money line guys. So last week we both picked the Commanders. Didn't work out. Chicago beat the Commanders. We were both obviously wrong on the Panthers. You called it. I gave you credit earlier. New York Giants over the Eagles. My Bills pick faltered against the Falcons, which everyone's screaming about the Falcons and how great they are. They lost to the Panthers 30-0, by the way. So I'd pump the brakes on the Falcons a little bit, even though I like the Falcons after watching them against
Well,
Buffalo.
they had the best running back, if not the best player in all of football.
Yeah, and it's I don't disagree with you. Bijan is a beast, and I wish he would have went to A&M and not Texas. So
yes,
and you can see the rest of it. You picked Tampa Bay correctly, the Chargers correctly. You're wrong on the Jags. They lost to Seattle. I had the Steelers right, the Broncos right, barely. That one scared the hell out of me watching that game from London. And I was wrong on the Lions. Kansas City looks like they're back. And you were correct on the Rams taking down the Ravens, which isn't much of a pick right now because half their team's out. So if you're new to the organization, I shouldn't say organization. I don't even know why that word popped in my head. If you're new to the program, I should say.
The onboarding class. We welcome.
Welcome. If you're new to Picks with Pops, there we go. We pick every NFC East game. We pick every Texans game, and then we have the wild cards. Depending on how that falls with division games and things of that nature, we have more or less wild cards. We always pick a total of 7 games. So we got the Eagles at the Vikings. I have the Vikings beating the Eagles because I think the Eagles are about to start their imploding process. So do you tend to agree with me, or are you going with the Eagles this week?
No, I agree. I can't reach my Vikings at, but yeah.
All right.
It's the Vikings.
So we both got the Vikings. All right, blow the horn. All right, now we got the Giants at the Broncos. Your new love fantasy with Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart and all that. But you were also in love with the Broncos before the season. And the Broncos, pretty solid team. Where are you going on this one?
Sorry, Scatterboo and Dart, but I'm going with the Broncos.
All right. The old man is going with the Broncos. I'm buying it this week. Damn it. I'm buying the Giants going on the road to Mile High. I think Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo get it done with that defense because the defense is pretty good for the New York Giants. So I'm taking the Giants. All right. Next, we got Washington at Dallas. We interviewed Dan Quinn. He was very enthusiastic. He said they were going to be awesome. And I tend to agree with him. I'm picking Washington over Dallas. It hurts to say that, but no homer pick here.
I'm going to say the Cowboys get it right and barely win this game.
All right.
So
interesting. All right. Well, we already talked about Texans in Seattle. I think we both picked Seattle. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah, we're picking Texans to not get right against Seattle. Now, here come our wild card games, folks. We don't talk about the games we pick. We might pick the same ones. We might not pick the same ones. So I picked Falcons at the 49ers. That is a long road trip. But I think the Falcons get it done on the road against Mac Jones. And the 49ers are just missing so many people. They just lost their defensive captain for a broken ankle. And Fred Warner, probably one of the best top 5 defensive players in the league. He's the heart of that defense. I think the Falcons get it done on the road against San Francisco.
We should always have a upset pick of the week. Because my next one is the upset pick of the week. I think the Jets playing the Panthers get their first win of the year because they played tough, even though they couldn't muster any passing yards. But I think they finally
-10
I
passing
don't think
yards?
they go 0-7. I think they will be 1-6 after this week and beat the Panthers.
I think you're crazy for that, but that is not one of my wild
Okay,
card
remember
games.
that. You said I was crazy. You said that about the Giants pick too.
I did. And you love to point
So I'm
that
going
out.
New York again for an upset.
Yeah, you're just in a New York state of mind, apparently. All right, my next wild card game is the Raiders at the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs absolutely destroying the Raiders, the team that you thought was going to win the West, and the Raiders, or at least compete for it. They look like a absolutely hapless, dead, dying deer strangled by Bruce Bochy himself. So I got the Chiefs in that one. Did you pick that game, or do you have a different one?
I have a different game, and just to clarify, I said it was either the Chargers or the Raiders, and I said I left that a little open, but it's the Chargers who are going to take
I
that
said
division.
you said they would compete for it. I didn't say you.
Okay. All right. So this one is probably another upset. Also, is the Cardinals are going to beat the Packers this week. Which is definitely, yes,
that would definitely
upset.
be an upset. I almost picked that game, but the Cardinals have burned me before. I would have went with the Packers if I was picking that game. So my last wild card game, and this might be on yours because you tend to pick this team every week, but I got the Bucks at the Lions. And I'm going Detroit. I think Detroit wants revenge for their performance last week. I think they were embarrassed by the Chiefs and the Branch situation and the post-game fight. I think Dan Campbell is rolling heads in Detroit right now, breaking skulls and biting kneecaps. I think they get back to who they are this week. That is my upset. Detroit Lions over Tampa Bay.
Well, we did pick the same game. And I'm on the Baker Mayfield train after he got smacked in the game, got up, got back in the lineman's face and said, "Good hit, man, hit me like that again. I dare you." And went on and won the game. So I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to run the Lions out of the stadium. Boom.
All right. I just don't think if this was in Tampa Bay, I'd take Tampa Bay in a heartbeat. I just think in Detroit, after Detroit losing to the Chiefs like they did, and then everything happening, I think they get it back. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move to college football. Big college football weekend this past weekend. Let's go ahead and transition from Pops' wisdom.
So let me just transition us in there for one of the teams that both of us are kind of connected to. Anchors away, my boys! Anchors away! Look who is 6-0 right now. The midshipmen of Navy. Hey, Army, suck on that a little bit. You're barely 500.
Yeah, Navy's still not ranked in the top 25. So
that's still 6-0, baby.
I agree with you. I'm just saying it's a travesty that they're not at least 25. I mean, there's teams with 2 losses like
we
I
got
don't
to
know,
put Texas in the top 25. We can't put Navy
or Cincinnati's in the top 25, or Memphis.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Pretty, up top, Oregon goes down to Indiana, and I gotta admit, Indiana, and Indiana in Eugene, Oregon. By the way, I was wrong on Indiana. I thought they're a 1-year wonder last year, and they're proving me wrong. And there's rumors that their head coach could be on the move, or might be in the mix for another job. We'll get into that here in a minute. But top 5 teams this week after last week: Ohio State still number 1, followed by the U, then Indiana, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. I think Texas A&M should be above Indiana personally, but Indiana does have the best win of the year on the road at Oregon. So because Oregon was ranked number 2 going into last week. So in the top 25, any surprises last week that you saw other than Indiana beating Oregon?
No, I thought Oklahoma was going to take care of Texas, but then we didn't know that their quarterback was going to get hurt. So once again, injuries come up and bite a team. But not like I said, I do think Navy should be up there, but then again, Navy does not play in a very strong conference, so I get some of that. But I tell you, a team that scares me more than Ohio State, that scares me more than the U, that scares me more than Georgia, is a little old team called Ole Miss. Ole Miss is playing some serious football right now. So
yeah,
that is,
Ole Miss is looking really good. I agree with you. By the way, they have some of the best uniforms in college football.
Oh yeah, they do.
Those powder blues are beautiful. I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie. I think Alabama should scare you a little bit as well. I think their quarterback is, they have a legit QB right now. I think he plays the position better than Milroe did. Milroe is a better athlete, but I think he's a more, he's an athletic quarterback, but he throws the ball so much better. So that's pretty scary. Tennessee's starting to creep up the standings. They're 5-1. I think Tennessee, do they play Alabama this week? I think they play Alabama this week.
I have to look.
So Oklahoma, obviously a surprise losing to Texas. Texas just seems to have Oklahoma's number. I think they've won 3 out of the last 4 Red River rivalries. And South Florida with that 5-1 still in the top 20 is a little surprising to me. But we're starting to get into the meat of schedules, and a lot of these SEC teams are going to start beating each other up.
You were correct. Tennessee is playing at Alabama.
Yeah, so that's a big game. I think if Tennessee wins that vaults them obviously into the top 10, and I think Alabama will drop out of the top 15 or about to round 15, depending on how the other ones hit. But I think it's going to be interesting. You got your top 12 teams right now. Georgia Tech would be in the college football playoff, which they're at 6-0 right now. Texas Tech still undefeated at 6-0. And I think Texas Tech, I think they're a legitimate team. I think no one's going to want to play them. And I think they're taking care of business up there in Lubbock, and which is
who would have thought that the 2 Texas teams in the top 10 would not include the Longhorns?
I think most people thought it would be the Longhorns. I mean, they started preseason number 1, obviously. So,
LSU has a pretty rough game this week. They're taking on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt 17. What is their record?
By the way,
Vandy. Yeah, their conference. They're 1-1. They're 5-1. 5-1.
Yeah, but the biggest, I didn't call it a surprise. I think I actually said it was going to happen here pretty soon. I thought 13 days ago, Penn State was ranked top 3 in the country, a title contender, and in 2 weeks, they're nowhere near going to make the playoffs. They fired James Franklin, so he's gone. That's what I thought was about to happen after last week's performance. And yeah, how about the fall of Penn State? What a quick fall from grace.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the firing is justified when you can't win conference games, and especially when you're one of those teams in the talk of the national championship. And I was one of them who thought they were going to do this. It's crazy. But one of the other ones, there's another good game. It's going to be Ole Miss and Georgia, and then of course A&M when they play Arkansas. It really don't matter who's record or ranked. That's always a tough game for A&M. But Ole Miss and Georgia is going to be an interesting game because Ole Miss has got to go to Georgia, and Georgia has not looked as good as they have in past years, but they are still very good at home.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup down the line there. And so, yeah, a lot of big games coming up this weekend and in the weeks following. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes down and how the college football playoff committee starts ranking teams when they officially start putting their rankings out, which I think is happening in the next week or two. Is the first ranking? I think is after week 6 or 7 is when they start doing it. So,
Another, just really quick before we get off there, another one that I don't think anybody saw this happening was Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech ranked number 12 right now, and AP is 6-0, and they are showing something. So that's another team to look out for.
Way to follow up me mentioning that a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I know you did. I just wanted to point it out to you.
Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. All right. Well, we are getting towards wrapping this up. We're running a little long today. A lot of topics to get to today. But do you have a making the most of your moment?
Yeah, I do. Actually, it's for this one is going to be, I have to share. This is share screen. Is parents making the most of it? This comes to us from Goodable app, which shows nice things, positive things. So that's why I like it. But parents, I love when parents do this. This is a kid who thinks he's getting a toy motorcycle for his birthday. And this is just a really cool moment. Like I said, this is from
gave him a real
Goodable.
motorcycle.
Check it out.
Oh my gosh, it's a dirt bike!
Yay! Just what you wanted. Show me.
It's just exactly what I wanted.
Just exactly.
Exactly.
You see, at this point, though, I'm stopping it because he's like, yeah, that's cool. I got a toy. I don't want to.
He's
make
about to
mom and
start the
dad-
bike, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to start the bike in there. Yep. Here.
No, but it's okay. I still like it.
What's the right color? Huh? Red. Oh.
But it's
weird.
fine. I still like it. Thank you.
Put it on the on position.
And there he goes. That's some authentic emotion of parents making the most of messing with the kid. I would have done that if I had had the money. I would have done that to you all the time.
Yeah, no, I couldn't even get a pair of Jordans back in the day. So, you know what? But I will say this for you and my mom and you. I remember one Christmas, I think it was, I asked for Dallas Cowboys trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you came through. I don't know how you got them, but you came through and gave me like at least 150 of them through different sources or whatnot. And I actually gave them to my nephew Jake, who still has them. I honestly would want to get with Jake and be like, "Hey, man, we need to see how much some of these are worth now, because that's some pretty damn good cards." But but nah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, making the most of your moment there. Little tidbits, randoms, and I'll go ahead and do the whiskey of the week before we get tidbits and randoms. This week's whiskey of the week is called 1835 Bourbon, distilled in Fort Worth, Texas, 90 proof, 45% alcohol. Actually, it's distilled in Kentucky and then bottled in Louisville, Texas. So, but yeah, so 1835. If you know the significance of that year in the state of Texas, we can be friends. If you don't, then I don't know if we can be friends. But one tidbit I came across on Facebook. There's a coaches group. I haven't left it yet, but since I'm not coaching anymore, but I saw this person talking about middle school varsity basketball. And they're like, what advice do you have for a middle school varsity team? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Middle school
varsity.
Exactly. Yeah. The look on your face is exactly the look that I had on my face. And then the dude responded with, or I just kind of put middle school and put varsity in quotes. And he's like, well, when you coach middle school, your 8th grade team's called your varsity and your JV is 7th and 6th grade. I'm like, what? No, it's not. It's called the 8th grade A team and B team. And it's called the 7th grade A team and B team. I'm like, what? I don't know what crazy place you're coaching in, but varsity is high school and it's the top level in high school. Like, to me, it just sounded like we should call it varsity to make kids feel better. And I was all like, this is dumb. And then they commented on saying, like, when you coach middle school basketball, I have coached middle school basketball, and I coached for 16 years in different parts of the country, and I never heard middle school referred to as middle school varsity. Like, stop with this stupid stuff, calling it that stuff. It just, oh my God, it was just one of those stupid things. I'm like, I didn't engage in the conversation because I didn't want to. I was like, this is a no-win situation, wasting my energy on this. But I was just like, I'm going to bring that up because it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of is middle school varsity basketball. So,
yeah, that's my tidbit is I have a big happy birthday because someone turned, I'm not sure, 200 something years old, but the Navy was established in October 13th, 1775. They just had the Navy birthday on October 13th. So happy birthday to all our veterans, our Navy, Continental Navy, American Revolutionary War when it was out there. It's been around since
if
then.
you can math, it's 250.
Okay, thank you. I was under the assumption there'd be no math.
I'm just letting you know it's 250, 1775, 2025.
So 250 years old, but so both my sons and myself, it was a family business. So happy birthday to the Navy.
And my grandfather on my mom's side.
Yep.
Grandpa Joe.
So greatest fighting force ever known to man.
We out of those 250 years, we had a total of 36 years of schedule.
36. Well, you could throw in my ex-wife. She did 7, so I know you don't want to, but we'll throw that in. Dental hygienist, it didn't count though. Kind of like someone else I know didn't go to see. Oh, number 1. Okay.
Yeah. Just a reflex. Listen, you know what, you can criticize and say all you want, but we were sitting at at MEPS And I looked at you and I said, all right, I know I'm joining the Navy, but what's my best way not to go on a ship? And you looked at me and you told me how to do it. So if anyone's responsible for me not going on a ship, it's you. And then when I was picking orders out of A school, the detailer made chief with you. And as your retirement present, sent me where I wanted to go. So you have a heavy hand in me never going to sea. So whether you want to admit it or not, okay? So those first 4 years, they're on you. I'll take the other 5.5. Okay. But I did deploy to Cuba. So even though that was one of the easiest deployments ever, in my opinion, on the part of Cuba I was at.
So, it wasn't like in A Few Good Men. I
No.
sleep where so many Cubans want to kill me.
No, matter of fact, I think the Marines were outnumbered in Cuba by Navy and Air Force at that point. I just ran the post office behind the wire, which during Christmas time and the holiday season, that place sucked. It was so many. I saw one dude get 15 care packages from the same company. And I, like, on the 10th one, I was like, hey, man, you want to share the wealth a little bit? Like, he's like, oh,
So we actually have something in common because I worked at the Cuby Point post office in the Philippines on my first deployment. And so back then, you used to get the Playboy magazines in those black bags. A lot of guys on the ships would get them and they were taped back together. There was a reason for that. Sorry, fellas, but we had to do a preview.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, no, I didn't see anything crazy. Like, probably the craziest thing that I saw, which I can't say too much about, was mail for the detainees. So I won't go into details on that. I don't want.
Did they try to mail any live goats? Oh,
No.
wait, should I say that?
No,
Goats
I never got a live goat in the mail. So, but yeah, no. So yeah, happy birthday, Navy.
Yes, that's all I got, man.
I feel you every day. So yeah, that's about all I got. Got the whiskey of the week out of the way. Got yeah, a lot of subjects there. I mean, we went a little long today, but it is what it is. So all right. Well, folks, if you catch our Philly guys, the Sorry in Advance podcast, they're probably still mourning their Philadelphia Phillies getting eliminated. What a terrible Thursday last Thursday for Philadelphia. The Phillies get eliminated and the Eagles lose. So to the Giants, it was a rough day in Philly. Check out our recognized game guys, our crew talk, Trillo Betts and his partner. They do a great job. I think Mac is back now, and our Saturday Smack Talk guys. They talk wrestling on Saturdays, obviously Saturday Smack Talk. So check out the other shows, and hopefully Dustin will be back here soon with Bearded Bros. No timetable for that, but hopefully our founding show will be back on the air. So other than that, we love y'all. We appreciate the support, and thank you for all 22,000 of y'all that checked out one of our posts on TikTok. So it was up 22.7 thousand who checked that out. So and watching us and engaging with us on all the platforms out there. So all right, peace. We're out of here.
All right. Good night.